What is up, YouTube? This is your boy here, John, coming back with a deck profile. So, guys, it's not 100% completed. So, what I done was I proxy, which means that you just put in a placeholder for the cards that you're missing. But this is the deck for runicks that I'm going to be eventually running. But yeah, I'm just gonna give y'all a quick rundown of what I'm running in it. So yeah, like I said, it's not 100% completed. I'm missing 6 cards, I think, 3 in the main and 3 in the extra. But for the most part, I mean, it's playable. But let's just go ahead and get started. So first, I'm running 3 Cosmic Cyclones, which just lets you pay 1,000 life points to target one spell trap card on the field and banish it, which is a quick play. So the object of the runick deck is just to banish your opponent's completely deck out and where they can't play. And I run it on a Master Duel for PS5 and PS4 and stuff, and I really love the deck. Like, I'm it's pretty good. So I'm running a few hand traps in it also to just kind of protect yourself. But I'm running 3 draw and lock bards, which has a effect. If cards is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand and set down the draw phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the grave. For the rest of the turn, cards cannot be added from either player's main deck to the hand. So that kind of hurts you in also, but like you can do some crazy shenanigans with that and some of the cards I'm running in this deck. So back to some. So now we're gonna get into the runick spells, which are all quick plays. But I'm running 3 runick flashing files, which all have roughly around the same effect for each quick play runick card. Activate one of these effects, but skip your next battle phase after activation. For runick flashing file, target one special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Or special summon one runick monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. You can only activate one runick flashing file per time. So pretty much, sorry about that. There we go. So pretty much what that just says, since there's no actual runick monsters in the game yet, the quick play spell cards is how you summon the fusions from the extra deck. By running 3 flashing files, I'm going to be running Runick Dispelling, which I run at 3, which has the same effect as flashing file, can't activate battle phase, or the next battle phase. But Runick Dispelling has the effect of if your opponent adds a card or cards from the deck to the hand except during the draw phase, discard one random card from the hand, then banish the top 2 cards of the deck. Or special summon one runick monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. So that second effect, every one of the runick spell cards has that. So I'm probably just going to just tell y'all about the first effect of each one. For the next set, I'm running Runick Freezing Curses, which I run 3 of, which has the effect of target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end of this time, then banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So I'm also going to run 3 Trickstar Reincarnations. I just figured that it was good with this deck since you're just basically banishing your opponent's whole deck out. Sorry. So Trickstar Reincarnation, what it does is banish your opponent's entire hand, and if you do, they draw the same number of cards you banish, or the same number of cards. The second effect, which I would never use in this deck, is you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Trickstar monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So the second effect won't have any, won't do nothing for me in this deck. It's just the banish effect I'm looking for. But there's a combo you can do with 2 Trickstar Reincarnations and Draw and Lock. mode. That would just completely make it where your opponent can't draw and play the game. So I'm probably just going to run one triple tactic talents instead of a max of 3. Because like this card is very situational. So if your opponent has activated monster effect during your main phase this time, activate one of these effects. Draw 2 cards. Take control of one monster your opponent controls until the end phase, or look at your opponent's hand and choose one card from it to shuffle into the deck. You can only activate one triple tactic talent per time. So that card is very situational. So like if I go to activate one of my card effects and they ash me, I can activate triple tactic talent and draw 2 or whatever. So that's where it's just kind of situational because you had to rely on your opponent to use the effect during your main phase. So I'm going to run one runick of lore, which has the effect of each time a quick play spell card activates, banishes the top card of your opponent's deck. You can only control one runick lore. So I'm only going to run the one copy because I have searches for it. So with that card, any quick play spell card that gets activated, even if your opponent activates it, they had to banish the top card from their deck. And so, like, it's just a crazy card to run, and it's just really, really strong. Definitely nowadays with like Super Poly being at 3, Cosmic Cyclone that people like to run, just different cards like that. Any of the quick plays that are pretty strong. If you're going against like a hero player that will try to mass change you, like that's a pretty busted card because most hero players will try to first time Dark Law you, which banishes any card that gets into the graveyard. And yeah, like that card just comes in clutch against quick plays. Because your opponent has to think, well, do I really want to activate this and lose a card, or do I just set or pass my turn? I mean, it's really one of those cards where your opponent has to set and think what they want to do, because it's not a once per turn effect. So, I am going to run 3 Ash Blossoms, which everybody who plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Knows the effect of Ash. Like, you can discard this card from your hand and negate the effect of added card from your deck to your hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from the deck to the grave. I mean, Ash is just too good. Like, you gotta run Ash in any deck you play these days. Now, these 3 cards in particular, I'm unsure if I'm going to actually run them or not, or just take them out aside for like a game 2 type thing. But I'm going to run 3 Nibiru Primal Rock Being, or the Primal Being, which just lets you special summon from your hand if your opponent normal special summons 5 or more times during the main phase. And that could be either during the first main phase or the second main phase. I have been playing Mastodon and had my opponent special summon 4 times in the battle. 4 times in the main phase 1 battle phase, then main phase 2, and special summoned again, and it let me pretty much Nibiru them. So I'm going to run 3 copies of that. I am going to run 3 Infinite Impermanence, which is a pretty insane card, which has the effect of targeting one face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effect until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was set before activation is on the field, and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spells / trap effects in the column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So, like, if your opponent is going for like a combo play, you can and you have this in your hand, as long as you don't have nothing on your field, you can activate this from your hand, and it's not a once per turn effect. Like if you open up with all three and your opponent activates the effect, end pawn. Goes to activate has a special summon in hand, uses it, activates this effect for something else, end pawn. Like it's just it's a strong card. I love it. I'm gonna run one card by because that's what it sets at, unfortunately, which just targets one monster in your opponent's graveyard, banishing if you do until the end of the next turn. Its effects are negated as well as the activation effects and effects of the on the field of monsters with the same original name. So this is another good card to run because it's a quick play, which goes back to runick lore. If you're playing and you have the runick field card, runick fountain on the field, and you go to use its effect, and they ash it, you can chain call by the grave to negate the ash blossom. So I'm going to run 3 DD Crows. Quick effect, you can discard this card to the graveyard, then target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish that target. So this card is a very, very good. Like if you're going against anything that has a bunch of graveyard effects, like for example, Tear Elements, you can chain DD Crow to the effect and banish them, and it pretty much just stops the effect. Like they can't use that effect. So I'm going to run 3 copies of that. I'm going to run 1 copy of Dimensional Fissure, which states any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead, and it's a continuous spell. So like that card by itself is just insanely busted, like because that shuts down all graveyard effects at that point. Like your opponent ain't using any graveyard monster effects. I'm going to run 2 evenly matches, which states at the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls more cards than you do, you can make your opponent banish cards from the field face down so they control the same number of cards as you do. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So what I like to do on Mastodor is if I open up with evenly matched, and I go first, or heck, even if I go first or second, it don't really matter. But if I go first, I don't summon nothing, I just pass my turn to my opponent. He plays battle phase, attacks me. In the battle phase, I play evenly matched, they're forced to banish, and X amount of cards down to 1. If I'm going second, same scenario. I don't summon, battle phase, main phase, battle phase, in battle phase, evenly match. If my opponent has a bunch of stuff, forces them to banish, and then I do my plays during my main phase too. So that evenly match is just a super strong card. Like I love the card. For the next set of quick play spell cards, I'm running 3 Runick Smithing Storms, which has the effect of banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck up to the number of cards they control. So that card is really, 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 really insane. Because you can banish up to 12 cards with that one card if your opponent has a field full and can't negate it. I mean, like, that's a free 12 card banish for you. There is one card I'm going to probably throw in if I can find it, and it's called DD Dynamite, which inflicts 300 points of damage for each banished card your opponent controls. So you can see how that plays good in this deck, which I don't have, unfortunately. I need to pick a couple of copies up. So the next set of spell cards I'm going to be playing at 3 is Runick Slumber, which has the effect to target one face-up monster on the field. The next time that monster will be destroyed by battle card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. Also, it cannot attack this turn. Then, after applying this effect, banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So, you can actually chain that down the battle step when your opponent goes to attack one of your Runick fusions to protect to protect that fusion from being destroyed by battle. Like, it's just an insane card. Plus, it forces your opponent to banish 3 cards from the top of the deck. So I'm going to run 2 Runick Fountains, which is the field card, which states you can activate Runick quick play spell cards from your hand during your opponent's turn. Once per turn, if you activate a Runick quick play spell card, you can target up to 3 Runick quick play spells in your graveyard, place them on the bottom of your deck in any order, then draw the same number of cards. So that just lets you recycle your quick plays and gives you a free, up to a 3 free plus 3. And with that card being on your field during your opponent's turn, you can pretty much just interrupt the plays that they do if you have a quick play in your hand. Quick play Runick card in your hand. So the next ones will be Runick Golden Droplet, which has the effect of your opponent draws 1 card, then you banish the top 4 cards of the deck. So they go +1, but they are forced to banish 4 cards for that 1 draw card. So, like, it's not really helpful for them because they're losing 5 cards that way from the deck. And anyone who plays Yu-Gi-Oh knows that without being able to draw after running out of cards, you lose the duel. So the last, well, not really the last set, but the last set I own right now of the Runick spells is called Runick Destruction, which has the effect to target 1 spell / trap card your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish the top 4 cards of your opponent's deck. So, like, if your opponent has something down that can stop your play, or has, like, Impalm down to negate your Fusion's Muscles effect, play Runick Destruction, destroy one of those face down spell trap, or target one of those spell trap cards, destroy it, banish 4 cards from the top of the deck. So, here's the proxies I was talking about. They're called Runick Tip, which is also a quick play. Fortunately, I don't own them yet. I've not bought them. I've not had the funds up really to do it, but I'll eventually get my hands on them. I just checked the price and they actually dropped down to like $15 when they was last time I checked like $20. So that's a plus for me. But its effect is activate 1 effect but skip next battle phase, of course. But add 1 Runick card to your hand, then banish top card of opponent's deck, pretty much. So, Runick Tip allows you to add any Runick spell card from your deck to your hand. Like I said, I don't have them, so I literally just proxy and put a couple pieces of paper in with the card and wrote out the effects on one of them, or on 1 piece of paper for this video. So that is the actual main deck of this deck. Like I said, I'm probably going to add 2 more cards to it, which would be DD Dynamite. Like I said before, it just burns your opponent for 300 points for each banished cards. So, in order to win, all you had to do really is get 27 cards from the deck into the banish zone. During the turn after you set DD Dynamite, flip it, you win because it's 8,100 points of damage. So for the extra deck, I am going to run 3 of each one of the fusions, which right now there's not many. I think there's like a total of 12. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. There's like a total of 4 fusions. So at 3 each, it's going to be a total of 12 extra deck. I don't know what to put in for the other 3 cards I'm missing. And I might not put nothing in all honesty. Like, I might just leave it at 12 and just play that. Unless they come out with some more Runick fusions. But, the first one is Freaky the Runick Fangs, which is a this dude. I've never heard of him. He's not on MD that I know of. But his effect is when an attack is declared involving this card in the extra monster zone, you can banish the top two cards of your opponent's deck. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one runick quick play spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of him once per turn. His attack is 2,000, defense is 0. So normally, when you bring the runick fusions out, you want to put them into defense mode because they normally don't have attack. So he's different. But I'm running 3 copies of him. I'm also going to run 3 copies of Gary the Runick Fangs, which has an effect, cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can target one non-quick play runick spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So it's an add from the grave or from the deck and a pop. And like you can't get rid of it with card effects. So like if someone goes full combo and summons Access Code Taco can't destroy him. Like you had to go into battle and destroy him by battle, and then his effect kicks off, and you can target the Access and pop Access Code Taco, for example. The last set of fusions I own as of now would be Muna the Runick Wings, which has an effect is if this card is special summoned from the extract, you can discard one card, add one runick continuous spell from your deck to your hand. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a runick card or cards you control or set cards you control, quick effect. You can banish this card you control, negate the activation, and you do destroy that card. Once per turn down the end phase, gain 1,000 life points. So like she lets you gain 1,000 life points at the end of each end phase of yours and your opponent's, and you can discard a card and add one runick continuous spell from your deck. Like that is insane. Because that's how you get access to Runick Galore. And then like if your opponent goes to target like one of your Runick cards or any card that you have fate set, you can banish her and negate it pretty much. And like it's just insane. So here's the last set of fusions. I don't own them yet, but it's called Hugging the Runick Wings. What she does is you can discard one card, add one runick field card to your hand. If another card you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card instead. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, return it to the extra deck. So yeah, that's my runick deck. Like I said, I'm missing a few cards from it, but other than that, it is playable because I think the place I go and play at once in a blue moon allows us to proxy cards in. So I don't know. I had to double check to see what they think about it, and so I'm not 100% sure. So don't quote me on that. But alright guys, I just want to give y'all a quick rundown of the runick deck. Sorry I've not been recording for games and stuff. I just at the moment I don't have nothing I want to play or record, and so I was laying in bed and I decided, well, I'll give them a quick rundown of the new deck I'm building. So yeah, there you go. So y'all, I hope y'all have a great day. God bless y'all. As always, this is your boy here, John. I love y'all. I love all the support and care that y'all give me. I love y'all watching my videos. As always, this is your boy here, John, signing off. Peace out.